Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album, the show where we get together, listen to a song or album for an entire week straight, and then come back here and tell you if we hate it and if so, why. And along the way, we do our very best effort to understand what in the world these songs are about. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, baklava to my balaclava, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how are you doing?
Well, good until just now, Garrett.
Why is that?
I can't help but notice, or maybe I'm imagining that you were trying to needle me about this past Saturday when I showed up
when
to
you ordered a fresh plate of balaclavas to the table?
Listen, yes, all right, I did. I ordered balaclavas at the Turkish restaurant. I will admit that everyone stared at me like I was an asshole. I'll admit it was quite the mix-up. But I would just like to remind you of the time the elderly Turkish couple moved in next door and he showed up to their housewarming party with a ski mask and a handgun, which is definitely not what I asked you to bring. It's an easy mistake to make, is my point.
You did, in fact, ask me to bring a balaclava. Now, granted, I made the assumption.
Did I say it wrong again?
God damn it, Tim! What's frustrating is at the restaurant, you were looking at the dessert menu. It said baklava.
It's a complicated word to say. There's a lot of
it's a complicated word. That's fantastic. I've never heard anybody ever use the word complicated to describe a word. Difficult, long, complicated is not a word. That's fascinating. English is not your first language.
It is not. It is
might
Turkish,
not even be,
which makes me think that maybe I should know the difference. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
masks and sweet treats aside, what album have you been listening to for an entire week straight?
I have been listening to Stone Sour's sophomore album, Come Whatever May, released August 1st, 2006.
Everybody, just get ready. Tim, after an entire week with Stone Sour and Come Whatever May, I must ask, and reminder, you are under oath. Do you hate this album?
I do, Garrett, I do.
My.
Now, I hate this almost 100% less than Slipknot, but there is still so much hate available for this stupid, terrible album. This thing sucks. What about you? Garrett, do you hate this album? Oh, God.
Easy. Come on now. Relax. Haven't even answered. Just collecting myself to say... Please put down that small collector's mini bat. Where did you get that? Was it mini bat day at Fenway Park? Where did you get that?
Fenway?
I don't know. I didn't see the logo.
Citi Field, Garrett. We're Mets fans in this house.
No, we are not. I will allow you to be a Yankees fan, mostly because that will place you once again as a sworn enemy to me, but nobody's a Mets fan. The Mets aren't Mets fans.
If you live in this city, it's the classier thing to be. Garrett, do you hate this album? Keeping in mind that I will slap you. Well, I don't know if slap's the right word. Jab?
Mental slap?
Attack. I will attack you with this bat.
Fair enough. Mets. You know what, Tim? Here's the God's honest truth. Remember earlier when I asked you if you hated this?
Yes.
And you said yes. When you said yes, I was at a no. But I don't think I'd really given it considerable thought. And there's nothing in my notes that would indicate I enjoyed one iota of this.
Right.
So yes, I do hate this album.
Excellent.
I really do. I think that's the fastest I've ever gotten there.
Might want to have that looked at.
Goodness. Anyway, yeah, you hate it. I hate it. We're only going to go downhill from here. I can't imagine we're going to come out of this enjoying it more. So much to be said, though, before we do. I'm curious, Tim, prior to this week, what's your exposure to Stone Sour? Had you ever heard any of these songs?
I think I've heard the acoustic-y thing, the Through Glass, I think.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay.
But
maybe.
So, I mean, I was in college and definitely not listening to the radio anymore by the point that this album was released. I've probably heard something from the first album that was right in my high school radio time, but that song did sound familiar. Now, I do have a tragic history with Corey Taylor, however.
Oh.
You see, years before this album came out, I infected the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the House of Saud, with their sister band Slipknot.
Wait, I see. You were the carrier monkey that let that into their country.
Yes, my mom and I had moved to Houston after I finished 8th grade. My dad stayed in country, as he phrased it, to finish a project, as he phrased it. Anywho, we went back to visit him at some point. One of my friends asked me to smuggle the first self-titled Slipknot album to him, which I did. Now, did I share it with our friends and classmates Abdulaziz Al-Amari or Hani Hanjour or Hamzi Al-Ghamdi or Khalid Al-Mindar? Possibly. He might have, Garrett. He might have. And listen, those guys were always talking about how heavy metal was the worst offense brought to their great lands by the great Satan. And I mean, honestly, that sounds like lyrics to heavy metal, so it seems like they should have been bigger fans.
Yeah, I think they were getting it.
Honestly, hearing heavy metal seemed to throw them into quite the frenzy. Garrett, my question is, how much of U.S. foreign policy over the past 2 decades is a direct result of me bringing Slipknot to Saudi Arabia?
I mean, what year was that you brought Slipknot?
99.
99.
Garrett, did I do 9/11?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find a nice way to phrase it, but let's just, in the interest of time, get it out of the way. Are you responsible in at least a majority share of 9/11? Yes.
Interesting. Well, we'll get into that in track number 2.
Damn it. I was really hoping just up top maybe we'd get the 9/11 reference out of the way. In all seriousness, Tim, were you on those planes? No.
No, definitely not.
Did you potentially provide the soundtrack to either their
you
training
think they
or
listened to it? Oh, interesting.
I'm just saying.
I think I'd be real pissed.
It's not the last thing I'd like to hear before I died. Anyway, feels though we might have gotten a bit grim. I'm going to assume we cut some of most of what we said, but
Not
that's
a word
fine.
of it. What about you, Garrett? Did you also cause a 9/11-like event? Perhaps a 7/7?
No. Luckily, I avoided Slipknot and Stone Sour and all this other nonsense. By 2007, I was a productive member of society paying taxes. I was not listening to Stone Sour come whatever may.
Right. Okay. But I know that you left that big CD case in Fallujah, right? Is that you?
I have definitely been to Fallujah.
I think we should leave it there.
Yeah, let's just leave it there. What do you say? And you know what? I'll even say I brought a CD case.
Fair enough.
I can say that.
I did a 9/11. Garrett did a 7/7. Let's move on.
I did the Surge.
That resulted
Remember
in
the
a
Surge?
7/7. I do. Yes, I do. It was
working.
not as successful as
Well, after I left those CDs in Fallujah, things got pretty heated, so I had to go back and make it right. Ugh.
Probably bleep all of that.
Yeah, so many corpses from bridges.
Not that, though. That's staying in.
Dude, this is dark this week. I'm sad. All right, let's try to pep things up. That's your history. That's my history. That's a brief history of the Middle East. Before we can talk about the album of the week, we need to understand a little bit about their history. So, Tim, take us on a journey. Help me understand. Help you understand. And of course, for the love of God, could you please help these listeners understand what's a Stone Sour and how the fuck did this get made?
Stone Sour is basically the band of Mr. Corey Todd Taylor, aka Number 8, aka Neck, aka The Boogie Knight, aka Great Big Mouth, aka Todd Tigger, aka the guy who no one could ever think of a good nickname for, although I will say...
those are the worst nicknames I've ever heard. Neck?
If you've ever seen him scream into a microphone, Neck is not a bad nickname, but that honorific should definitely go to Henry Rollins, whose neck could eat, this is true, Corey's neck.
Yeah, Henry Rollins' neck, even to this very day, remains the neckiest neck out in the music biz.
It's so wide.
God, his nicknames are terrible.
Todd Tigger? It's not even the. Great Big Mouth. Your mouth.
Great Big. This is my buddy, Great Big Mouth.
You might know him as the Boogie Knight. Oh, sorry.
Knight.
Sorry, Number 8. Yeah, you're right.
Ugh.
You know, the numbers don't sound so stupid anymore.
Yeah, boy, now I'm starting to understand why they thought that was okay. I like the nickname that we came up with last episode, Tim the Bare Minimum Richardson.
I don't like that at all.
Shortened to BM, also known as Bowel Movement.
Anywho, Gary, Corey Todd was born in Des Moines, Iowa in 1973, but he was mostly raised in Waterloo, Iowa, most famous as the birthplace of Adam Devine, who long-term true fans of this show will know was originally supposed to play the Tim Richardson role on this show before he was cast in The Righteous Gemstones. Waterloo is, of course, also the place where Mr. John Wayne Gacy attempted to live a normal life as a KFC manager, although that quickly devolved into a series of sexual assaults and an insistence that people refer to him at parties as Colonel. Garrett, that's true.
But aren't you just going to leave out the 42 boys buried under his house?
Oh, that was back in Chicago.
Oh, back in Chicago or before he moved to Chicago?
Well, this was before he moved to Chicago. This was when he was trying to maintain.
I see. My apologies for not having my Gacy timeline accurate. The Colonel.
Well, no, just Colonel.
Oh, I think the Colonel's better.
I know. He didn't go with that, though. Garrett, Corey's mom, his half-sister, and C-Todd moved around the country a bunch as she looked for work, with some notable childhood rites of passage, those classic moments that all of us share. The first, of course, was being introduced to rock music by his grandmother. Apparently, his favorites were Suspicious Minds and In the Ghetto by Elvis Presley, although he would later get into Black Sabbath and Journey. More on that in this goddamn album. The next core memory was formed when he went to go see Buck Rogers in the 25th Century with his mom, which was preceded by a trailer for 1978's Halloween, leading to a lifelong interest in masks.
More on that in a bit.
When he was 9, his mom and her boyfriend moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to, and again, this is true, become security guards for Burt Reynolds' Florida ranch.
Huh?
You believe any of that, Garrett?
I weirdly do.
While driving there, the family was stranded in Georgia. Garrett, the family then took a quick canoe trip, and you've seen Deliverance. It ended poorly.
Goodness. Oh, goodness.
Anyway, they lost a bunch of their stuff in Florida, or in Georgia, but I think eventually made it to Florida. Next, Garrett. He was sexually abused at the age of 10 by a 16-year-old neighbor boy. He told no one about that for 8 years because this kid threatened to hurt him and his mother. By
Next.
15, he was addicted to and had repeatedly overdosed on cocaine.
Whoa.
His grandmama in Des Moines got legal custody of him around 15 as well, where she bought him some musical equipment. Then he dropped out of high school, but did later earn a GED.
Dude, can you imagine having friends that have overdosed multiple times on cocaine at 15?
He attempted to kill himself with a cocaine overdose, but was resuscitated and successfully then turned 18. He has a pretty good pedigree for becoming a rock star by this point, is my point. This music should be better.
Yeah, that's true.
In 1992, when he was 18 to 19, he started the band Stone Sour with drummer Joel Ekman. They got their name from a drink menu at a bar, a Stone Sour, of course, being a whiskey sour with some added OJ. And for those of you who have found the feed, that is what I'm drinking. Longtime listeners know I like to dress the part each week with a sometimes quite elaborate and occasionally on fire costume. This week, it's more of an inside my tummy costume. We'll see how that affects.
Sometimes they're super lazy and just alcohol focused.
Bare minimum, we'll see how that affects the rest of the show. They got Sean Economaki to play bass. They recorded a couple of demos in 93 and 94, and then James Donald Root, aka Jim Root. You may know him best as Number 4, joined on guitar. In 96, they recorded a final demo, and then that band went on hiatus as Corey and Jimmy Root decided to be in the band Slipknot. Slipknot was formed in 95 with a bunch of Des Moines metal bands, including various incarnations of Pain Face, Inveigh Catharsis, Monophidius, Body Pit, Heads on the Wall, and The Pale Ones. Prior to the Stone Sour Boys joining, Slipknot had released Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat on Halloween in 96, but their previous singer was even worse at vocals, and Corey Taylor was marginally better. That 9-member band of assholes got signed to a deal with Roadrunner Records, which was a $500,000 deal. Guess how many albums, Garrett?
Oh, please say 9.
7 albums, Garrett. That breaks down.
That is not a good deal.
To $7,936.51 per member per album, which not enough to survive the 2 years between album releases.
Also, not enough to survive once you pay agents and pay back the fees to the record company. Like, that is...
They're idiots, Garrett. You've seen them.
Is Gino their lawyer? God damn.
That's fair. They released their self self-titled album, weirdly recorded in Malibu, and you can really tell that sound. They released that in 99. See episode 21 of this very show for the definitive analysis of that album. That was certified platinum on the back of me exporting it to Saudi Arabia, and they...
Wait. Are we getting like a Stone Sour and Slipknot full history? Because that, I don't condone that.
Oh, yeah, of course, Garrett. That album was certified platinum in 2000. They released Iowa in 2001, and then they went on hiatus because of what the internet described as internal conflicts. Corey Todd and Jimmy went back to Stone Sour, who were apparently... They just were not doing anything in the meantime, the other guys. They actually were going to change their name to Super Ego, then decided not to. They recorded their debut album, released in 2002. Presumably they got a better deal than Slipknot did, and that included the Spider-Man soundtrack song Brother and a song for Garrett's favorite Freddy Krueger movie and his favorite Jason Voorhees movie, Freddy v. Jason, Dawn of Justice.
That movie is not great.
They toured with Chevelle, Saliva, Powerman 5000, and Murder Dolls. Corey met his dad for the first time in 2003, which inspired him to abandon Stone Sour and go back to Slipknot, the successful band. Now, around this time, Corey got super drunk and almost jumped off a balcony in Los Angeles, but his wife Scarlett and or Thom Hazart, depending on who you believe, stopped him and insisted he got sober. To his credit, he seems to have done that.
Well done.
So he went back to Slipknot. Slipknot won a Grammy. They released the Subliminal Verses. Then Slipknot went on hiatus and Corey Taylor went back to the album of the week, Come Whatever May, with Stone Sour. Their drummer had to leave during that project because his son was diagnosed with brain cancer, which is a bummer.
Oh, God.
But they got a session drummer just to replace him, so it's all fine. Come Whatever May was released in 2006. They toured with Korn on the Family Values Tour. They did the Tonight Show with Garrett Harvey's all-time favorite late-night host, Jay Leno, and toured with Disturbed, Evanescence, and the Jägermeister Music Tour.
Oh, did you hear about this? Stone Sour.
Corey and Jim went back to record All Hope Is Gone with Slipknot in 2008, then went on hiatus in 2009. Corey founded the Junk Beer Kidnap Band, which never released any actual music, went back to Stone Sour. Stone Sour released Audio Secrecy in 2001, toured with Avenged Sevenfold and the Hollywood Undead.
Ugh.
Yeah, this whole thing is terrible, Garrett. He also released a book called Seven Deadly Sins, settling the argument between born bad and damaged good, which was something of a precursor to Stanford endocrinologist Robert Sapolsky's Behave and or Determined.
It was not.
It preceded it.
Yeah, it's true. Doesn't make it a precursor, though.
Stone Sour released some music for the third and best Transformers film, Transformers Dark Side of the Moon, in 2011. Then they released...
Sam Witwicky, you must get the Allspark. That movie, man.
It's great. They're all great.
They're so bad. Do you remember that time we watched one of them, but we fast-forwarded large segments of it, and it still took 2 hours?
I think it somehow took longer. That was the Marky Mark one, I think.
Oh, that was so baffling.
Yeah.
China.
That was the movie you explained to me, how China is such a big market that they have to throw a bone to China in the movie. Yeah. And then immediately after that, the movie just shifted to being set in China. It was amazing.
It was terrifying.
Delightful. Anyway, they released House of Golden Bones Parts 1 and 2 in 2012 and 13 respectively, a double concept album that Corey described as Pink Floyd's The Wall meets Alice in Chains' Dirt. Just like those albums, Garrett, they released a 4-part graphic novel to dive deeper into the storyline. I guess that's just what bands do now.
Don't forget to get our graphic novel. What? At a concert.
Yeah. Corey and Jim then went back to Slipknot. They released Point 5, The Gray Chapter, in 2014. Then on May 17th, 2014, Stone Sour released a statement saying that Jim Root was no longer a member of the band. He told a fan on Instagram, "Not my decision, not happy about it." However, awkwardly enough, he did stay in Slipknot after that. So...
What? Well, we know it wasn't Corey Taylor then.
No, I think that Corey Taylor doesn't have the only vote in Slipknot.
I see. I mean, there's been all sorts of fucking hubbub in Slipknot. I get all sorts of articles all the time in my newsfeed that they're kicking out another goddamn drummer all the time.
Yeah, well, they have plenty to spare.
It's too many people.
Yeah. Stone Sour did a covers EP in 2015 that was the most boring possible choices. Then Corey had neck surgery in 2016. Neck had neck surgery in 2016 after he broke his neck a while back and didn't realize it. Seems like a real Garrett move there. They released a 6th studio album called Hydrograd in 2017, toured with Ozzy in 2018, went on indefinite hiatus in 2020. Slipknot continues to release albums into 2022, and Corey Taylor released a actual solo album called CMFT, which I'm assuming stands for Corey motherfucking Taylor. Pretty cool. In 2020 and maybe something after. It doesn't fucking matter. The point is, this is a side project. Is that what we got from this?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I was thinking about it, but it's, dare I say, successful enough to stand on its own as its own band.
Yeah. And on that, I say, le face.
To which I say, somewhat wiki. All spark.
Just two more, and then we'll be done.
I don't remember any other words from that show. Autobots, assemble.
I think you're mixing things there. Stop petting my goddamn face.
Well,
okay.
I was supposed to soothe you. I'm trying alternative methods than berating and physical abuse.
You are not. This is still physical abuse.
Beg to differ. Okay, Tim, great history. That is to say it's done. That brings us to general thoughts. Let me start with a compliment and end with one, I suppose. I like the cover art.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of Live's Throwing Copper.
Okay.
Which is a great album, so there you go.
All right. Yeah, we got a bunch of pictures of a guy in a top hat. No problem there at all.
Yeah. The album is interesting, right? Because there are clearly some very distinct Slipknot elements in here.
Sure.
I mean, there's also the acoustic songs, the piano ballads that are kind of shitty, but they're the exact antithesis of Slipknot. But there's also a lot more like conventional guitar solos on here. It feels more indebted in a lot of ways to Slayer than Slipknot.
Yep.
But he's still, like, vocally, there's still the roar, there's still the weird bark singing, there's the thrashy death metal guitars that are very Slipknot, there's the pounding bass drums. It's more palatable, more contained, it's definitely better produced. It's as if somebody thought they were really going to make some money with this, but ironically, I think Slipknot has outsold Stone Sour in pretty much every regard.
Yeah, that would have been my guess going into this.
I expected this to be much more like acoustic and restrained. I expected this to be much more of like this guy's solo stuff, like his. It's very strange. It's just the
way of the girl.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Exactly.
Like, man, if this had been some sort of Chris Gaines alternative album, that would have made my week.
Not even that, though, Garrett. I was expecting what Tom Morello did with that dreadful Night Watchman.
Oh God.
But it's weird because I don't know why you bothered to do this. These songs, the majority, like 10 of them, are Slipknot-like enough. You could just make a Slipknot album.
Yeah, I think
he wanted all the money from it.
Oh, interesting. I think of let's see, there's 12 songs. I would say 4 of them are Slipknot worthy, and the others are not hard enough.
Worthy?
Yeah, I mean it's not a good thing.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. It just means that they're worthy to be in Slipknot.
Fair enough. But when I was thinking about like why does this exist? If you remember from our research way back in 2018, these Slipknot fellas are disgusting, right? They're vomiting into their dumb masks. They're not cleaning them. They're keeping crows in jars to sniff. Their fans are gross. Sometimes they taste that crow jar. And some of the band members had to take to wearing like latex surgical gloves anytime they may come into contact with these maggots because they're just visibly soiled fans. And
gross.
I think coming back to this Stone Sour thing after Slipknot, Corey Taylor has decided, listen, rock stars get to have sex with their fans, right? I would like to do that. But here's the problem. I would like to eventually have sex with somebody that isn't licking dead birds and covered in some sort of goo. And that's not going to happen to the lead singer of Slipknot. So he has to have this side project where it's like at least conceivable that a woman might bang him and he wouldn't immediately die of like a bite from a cobra that she's insisted on incorporating into the act for some reason. This is Corey trying to let everyone know, like, during sex, not going to be wearing a vomit mask. No one will lick a dead bird in a jar. My penis won't have like weird barbs. There's no tiny gas mask on my penis. I'm not sticky. You won't be sticky. I would like a higher class of partner than a Slipknot fan. I respect that. This is still bad music.
Yeah, all of that is very accurate. Let's begin there. I completely agree wholeheartedly. I think that this definitely is a retreat for him. It's getting away from a monster of his own creation.
Yes.
I just have to imagine being in Slipknot is fucking exhausting.
Well, sure. And there are songs I think that are specifically about that very concept on this album. I think
yeah, there may very well be.
they set each other on fire sometimes. Garrett, this would be like hanging out every night doing a live show with the Jackass guys. I don't want that.
No, I don't want that at all. In fact, by and large, I know it doesn't seem like it, listeners, but Tim and I actually operate within some very clearly set boundaries so that things don't devolve into murder.
Right. No rat traps are to be used on either of our persons.
Sure, that's true. No tasers are to be implemented without an agreed upon and equal footing.
If you have an uncontrollable urge to do something horrible like that, there's an intern.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many interns. Long story short.
Not as many as there used to be.
Long story short, I woke Tim up with a rat trap and he woke me up with a cattle prod. And so we had to set them ground rules. So things didn't escalate. But in all seriousness, it is like being in a band where you and I were just like, all right, so like no rules and we're just going to keep escalating, right? Okay, great. And you've already pointed it out. It's to my ear, I didn't know what to expect. I don't really know what a Slipknot is, and I don't remember the year 2018. So I didn't have a great frame of reference, and I had no idea what to expect from this. So when I heard the combination of Slipknot and like speed metal and at times like big 80s guitar solos.
Yeah, this thing really throws a wrench into your thesis.
Oh, yeah. No, they're the outliers. In any event, the amalgamation of influences and styles, for me personally, for the most part, it is not a pleasurable experience.
No. And the weird thing, so I looked up which songs were singles. Here's the order of singles. There's 30, 31, 50, Through Glass, Silly World, Made of Scars, and then the Road. It's a hilarious list of singles because based on that, like if you heard those 5 songs, those are the 5 songs that I guess got played on the radio. What is this band? What would they sound like if you go to a concert? What's going to be played? Like,
yeah. What are you excited for?
Yeah, it's like if you were to listen to an alternative rock station in 2006, all the different songs you would hear over an hour. This band has one of those songs. Like they've got a piano ballad, they've got like an acoustic thing, they've got the death metal-y thing, they've got the just hard rock thing, they've got something that for some reason sounds exactly like Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah, that's its own thing.
Yeah, we will get there, but the point is, I don't know what this band's sound is.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. It opens with one of its more Slipknot-y sounding, and so I was like, oh, okay, it's like a little watered down Slipknot. They want to do heavy metal without the masks and the growling. Okay, I got it. Nope, because it runs the gamut, and there's no predicting what's going to happen next. All I can say is that when it does slow down, I enjoy it less. Okay, before we get into the songs themselves, the last thing I need to cover is the lyrics themselves. 2 things. 1, I just don't like his songwriting.
Right, he's an idiot.
Ouch. 2, this is one of those situations where if the songs aren't about what I'm saying they're about, I truly don't know what they're about.
Yes. So, yeah, I think that's a perfect way of saying this. If we aren't going to land, like, because there's a couple that could be about like 1 or 2 things.
Oh, sure. There's some that are much more clear cut, but there are plenty of songs on here where I'm like, maybe this?
Yeah.
And if not this, like, give it to me. Yep. Tell me what in the world this is supposed to mean and how I'm supposed to get it from what you wrote, pal, because it's bullshit. And so we're going to see a lot of what some might term outlandish interpretations, but I challenge you, listener, prove me wrong. All right. Anything else from you, Tim, before we get into these songs?
Nope.
Okie dokie. Track number 1, 30, 30, 150.
I'm assuming you looked up what the title means.
Yes, it's so stupid.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be something like a 5150, a 72-hour involuntary mental health, like something. It had to mean something. Would you like to tell us what this means?
Sure. These are the trouser dimensions and weight of Mr. Taylor in high school when everybody doubted him.
Why?
I don't know.
Why not include a neck circumference? That's probably changed changed more. Liver volume, heart ejection fraction.
Or just shirt size.
Yeah, like
16 and a quarter.
Yeah. And he's using his high school measurements as a reference to presumably like 14-year-old Corey, but it's far more like clunky than that. And also, listen, these are acceptable measurements ish for an adult male. You know, that's I don't know why we're doing that. I also kind of wish he would give updates on how he felt later in life with his future measurements. You know, he's got a 42, 30, 205. Doing pretty good this year.
Did you say 42, 30, 205?
That's right.
Good night. We have a rule in this house. Your waist is never to exceed your height. It's tough for Tim, but for me...
It's not tough for me.
Well, you know, it's such a low height that...
That's rude.
I mean, you got a trim waist, I'll give you that.
I could do 30-30s if I didn't have these gigantic, meaty, but also creamy thighs.
You could totally do 30-30s if your measurement wasn't 27-27.
I am not Martin Short.
Oh, those dimensions were funny to me for some reason. Very, very funny. No, anyway, I'm sorry.
It's very rude. This is Slipknot light, right? It's much more palatable. It's less thrashy. It's still metal. He does some Hetfield voice in here.
Sure.
But as you were saying, lyrically, this starts out just stupid. The problem with him is I think he does the same thing Mariah Carey does, where he's using words and concepts that I don't think he bothered to even look up.
Maybe.
Because, listen, this starts out, the first two lines of this album, I am a dominant gene, live as I die. Never say forever, because forever's a lie. That's meaningless word salad.
Yeah.
It's less coherent than your lifestyle determines your death style, and for some reason, he claims to be a single dominant... Garrett, I hate this.
Well, you know, he's out there murdering those recessive genes, Tim. That's how that works, right?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Anyway, yeah, so excellent example of us having to really put this album on our shoulders and carry its meaning across the goal line, because it's going to be hard, but let's get into it.
Well, maybe, okay, let me ask this. Maybe, just throw this out there, perhaps he was reading Richard Dawkins' The Selfish Gene, and so he is singing this entire thing from the perspective of a single gene attempting to replicate itself without concern for the organism as a whole.
Interesting. So it's, okay.
I want to be very clear, it is not that.
I see. That's all right. I'm not going to do much better here today, but we'll try. Let's get into it. I am a dominant gene. Live as I die. Never say forever, because forever's a lie. I can see right through you, so I can ignore you. The story changes, but the ending won't bore you. So at this point in the song, the best I can say with any amount of certainty is that this seems to be some sort of unkillable being out for vengeance.
I mean, maybe. I think, okay, because he's talking presumably about him as like a 14-year-old, right?
Oh, so he's just like focused on his goals and can't be distracted by your taunts and wedges.
Yes. Well, also cocaine. Cocaine is one of his goals. But yeah, basically, right? This is how he felt in high school. He's super edgy. He's super cool. But like no one knows that because they're all picking on him.
Well, because they're not on cocaine.
And that's true.
God, I can't imagine trying to like sit still in a classroom in high school.
Oh, he's
and
not
be
going
like,
to high school, Garrett. This guy got a GED.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what? Is he just sitting at home all day doing cocaine?
Yeah, probably.
That is a weird, not fun. Oh, that's why they say addiction's no fun.
It sounds kind of fun.
I mean, sure, for 2 or 3 weeks, but eventually you got to straighten up.
Well, right. I mean, the abstinence between cocaine binges is what makes the cocaine binges so glorious.
Words to live by.
Yes.
I tried to tell you, but you simply obeyed. They didn't listen, so they threw you away. Now all you do is talk. I don't want to hear your bullshit. Is this what you want?
Right. The teachers, they're all telling him what to do. They're not listening to what he wants to do. And listen, man, he's got his own ideas. I don't see why I should have to listen to these people telling me to go to school and not do a bunch of cocaine and etc.
Yeah, he doesn't like geometry or dare.
Yeah, it's weird though because, okay, he seems to extend this to like a bunch of other people. He says, they called us us a dead generation. They told us that we wouldn't survive. They left us alone in the maelstrom, and as you can see, we're all clearly alive. We know where you are, and we're coming. Let's see you say that shit to our face. 30-31-50 remembers. 31-30-50 hates. Now, what's interesting, though, is he's referring to this generation. He is firmly Generation X. And the people that he's complaining to at this point in 2006, probably almost entirely millennials, right? That's who's listening to this music. So I don't think, it seems like he's trying to raise some sort of youth army, like a Halsey character.
I see.
Against adults and mainstream society, but he should really be careful because if the kids rise up against adults, he's clearly on the adult side of that.
Yeah, but if you're the leader of a youth uprising, I guess Peter Pan was a kid too.
Well, like a Hook scenario though, maybe.
Right, more like a Hook scenario. That's exactly where my head was at.
So you like your Peter Pan's old and hairy.
No, what? I guess, better than young and lithe. Touché is what you're looking for. Anyway, fair enough. Now, I completely agree with what you're saying. He is definitely trying to create some sort of child army that will rise up as a nation and take down their parents as revenge for him being mocked as a child and cocaine addict. But since I was very confused about the entire song as a whole, I went purely off of what was in the lyrics. And to my mind, it sounds like a group of maybe undesirables or old robots were all left in the maelstrom, which is some sort of nuclear wasteland at the edge of town. And they've all returned. They've left us alone. As you can see, we're all clearly alive. And 30-31-50 sounds a lot more like a robot than it does a pant size, or at least it should be what it's about, for the love of God. Anyway, so 30-31-50 is the leader of a robot uprising of abandoned robots that have militarized themselves and are nuclear powered.
All right.
Returning from the dead zone known only as the Maelstrom.
Now, okay.
It's all in my new graphic novel.
Of course it is. Now, how does that jive with the lyrics? In my own peculiar way, I feel mercurial.
Let's see. You've jumped ahead a bit one moment.
No, it's the next line, Garrett. It sounds like a wood nymph or possibly Eddie Izzard from across the universe is saying it. Oh, he's a little bit fickle, mercurial, in my own peculiar way.
I did not write it down.
Before I get ahead of myself again, I know where, but I still don't know when. You want to live in a one-sided world? Be prepared for a world of hurt? Now it's the grand facade. I don't want to be an angel. I just want to be God.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Robot Unit 30-31-50 wants to take over all of humankind.
Fair enough. The interesting thing, though, is if it's not that, the last part, this I don't want to be an angel, I just want to be God. It sounds like he's making fun of that shitty teen attitude. You know, it sounds like, oh, I don't want to be an angel, I just want to be God. Like, you can't say that without some sort of like self-awareness. It sounds
maybe
like
you can't.
Well, fair enough. But it sounds like commentary on this view, not the view itself.
I don't know. This whole song is about somebody who refers to himself by their trouser size and talks about how he's going to take revenge on everybody that was mean to him.
Yeah. I mean, that is what this is, though, right? Like, he is going to get revenge against those that wronged him as a boy. And, like,
yeah.
I, for one, am super glad that you got over the perceived slights of your youth so we don't still have to spend all our time tracking down people with terrible lives all around Fort Worth and, quote-unquote, giving them a piece of your mind. You know,
You enjoyed it at first.
I know, but then after a while I have to swoop in and smooth things over, and it really eats into our baklava and balaclava budgets, respectively.
Join us tonight for balaclavas and baklava. That's where we put on masks and eat sweet treats. All right. Well, assuming it's about a boy who's grown into a man and is taking revenge, and not about a robot that was cast out to a nuclear zone known only as the Maelstrom, explain the following lines. I am a fucking machine, fueled by the past. A memory's a memory until it is a fact. I can bury the hatchet and let some shit go, but I got too many grudges to hold. Saw a lot of people die in the end. I never want to walk that road again. Sounds like a murder.
I will admit that sounds very machine-like. The idea, though, a memory's a memory until it's a fact. That means he remembers being wronged, but he does not want to punish a potentially innocent person, so he's got to do some serious detective work before having his vigilante revenge, which Which makes me think, Garrett, is he Batman? Is this a song about Batman, the world's greatest detective? But
it's not the last time that question's going to be asked on this episode. I'm goddamn serious. It does sound that way. It begs my next question, which Batman is he? Is he doing sleuthing, or is he a Zack Snyder Batman? Is he just enhance interrogating people into saying yes?
Oh, probably that. He's probably got some sort of nuclear powered robots that he got from the Maelstrom to
Oh yes. I'm picturing nuclear robot Batman who was I was raised in the Maelstrom. Bane, where did you come from? We've missed you. I was born in it. Good stuff. Yeah, I think we did this justice.
Yeah.
Track number 2, Come Whatever May.
Is this a really uninformed and ill-conceived commentary on the Bush administration?
Yeah.
Okay, so Corey Taylor, the guy from Slipknot, is giving political opinions.
Yeah, he's got a lot of views on the subject.
This is extremely cringy, Garrett.
Yeah, there's not another way to put it. It's just misguided and ages poorly, and who cares?
Listen, it's not even that I disagree with, I think, probably what his view at the time was.
Sure.
But this is just terrible poetry that he has written essentially about how he feels about the U.S. invasion of Iraq. And, I mean, do we need to say more?
We'll just give people a little taste, because it's exactly what Tim and I are saying. So there is some curious language choices, which are pretty funny. So let's highlight those. All right. Song begins. Can you take away every single day that we have given to another false prophet? Can you give us all a reason not to fall before you take away another broken promise? Did anybody view Bush as a prophet?
No, maybe.
But he did tell the nation that God told him to invade Iraq.
That should be the first clue.
Because, I'm pretty sure he said, I prayed on it and God said to do it. Tried to kill my daddy.
That's true. He did try to kill his daddy.
Saddam, you're going down. Alrighty. Song continues. Show your pretty face. Hide the bitter taste. You're still the rapist of an entire nation. You want to be the man? You gotta be a man. But you are nothing but a sad insinuation.
So he's saying that Bush is not manly. The problem that I have here is that it seems like he's challenging Bush to be more manly in the world, which is not a good thing, right? This is like that time that Seth Meyers and Obama mocked Trump. Don't be like, hey, man up, Bush. Okay, sure. Iran? You saying Iran? No.
Yeah, sometimes don't poke the bear.
Yeah.
Also, pretty face.
Oh, he was handsome. You don't think Bush was handsome? I mean, in a 60-year-old Texan kind of way. Not anymore.
Golly.
In a Bobby Flay kind of way. Come on.
I'll slap you into next Tuesday. What in the world are you even saying right now?
How can we?
Fuck. He's a 4-letter word in this house.
Let's see what else is here. Keep your fingers crossed. The truth is at a loss. Big decision for an ordinary coward. The only problem is your fucking rhetoric. We're more in danger than before you took power. That's true, sorta.
Yeah. Destabilized a region.
Yeah, we're not. But yeah, I take your point. The world is slightly worse because of that.
But also, again, don't call him a coward.
Yeah.
That guy dodged a shoe.
Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah, there's a lot of things
pretty neat.
You can say that are negative about George W. Bush almost entirely, but that man can dodge a fucking shoe.
Come whatever may, there's going to be a day when we have figured out a plausible solution. False. It's been 20 years and the solution was kind of run away.
Yeah, which is, probably in hindsight, all we could have done.
Yeah. Now, here's the interesting part, Tim. Let's just go ahead and do a trademark Tim and Garrett predict the future right here and right now.
Iran. Sorry, go ahead. What's your question?
No, actually, if I was to say, I think Iran is about to have a rebirth in democracy, or at least a relaxing of their ways, we'll put it. I'm seeing good things in Iran.
Maybe. There's a possible Israel wild card in there, Garrett.
I absolutely agree. But what I was going to say is, when did we leave Afghanistan and Iraq formally? Iraq before Afghanistan, but we'll say we got out of Afghanistan in 2021? And that resembled Vietnam far more than any of us expected.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like it could have been a more orderly removal. Anyway, not the point. So 2021. What do you think? 20 years or less before we're back? It seems to be like every 20 years somebody invades Afghanistan thinking they can fix that boat.
I hope we don't go back to Afghanistan.
However, in 20 years, if we did, I guarantee you, one, it will not be people, and two, our robots with fire will not be spreading democracy. That's for goddamn sure.
I'd like to see those dinosaurs from those new Jurassic World films.
You're a man of science, Tim, at times. Are we to the point yet where we could make genetic, and I use this word generically, abominations, creatures that are not of this world, but use genetic pieces and parts, baubles and beads, if you will, to create new animal life that may or may not be more dangerous than what we have today? Can we do that?
Yes.
Theoretically, at least.
We can, yes.
Okay, because I've always thought that you probably won't ever clone dinosaurs, but you're very likely to create a new species that looks like a dinosaur.
Okay,
right?
so what you're saying is maybe we just size up those lizards, kind of like that 10,000 BC with that sexy lady.
You lost me at the end there. Didn't catch that film.
Oh, the Raquel Welch film.
Oh, the really old one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I do like that movie.
Is it 10,000 BC or is that a newer movie? 1 million BC, perhaps.
Tough to say, but she's in that leather outfit, bikini.
I think it's 1 million BC. Anyway, yeah, the point is I do think we could make bigger lizards if that's what you're after.
Yeah, I think that maybe
we just
spending
feed
a little
them more.
No, that's
Keep
not
them
how it
only
works.
in warm locations.
That would help. I guess you probably couldn't train Komodo dragons.
Well, you don't need to. That's the beauty of it. You hurl those things by the hundreds out of airplanes onto a city. They'll do it.
Could you imagine? We got rid of SEAL Team 6. Say hello to Komodo Dragon Team 100. Just drop 80 of those onto a goddamn compound in northern Pakistan. Everybody's running out.
Yeah.
God, why don't we do weirder stuff like that?
Well, no, we tried.
Hornets.
We tried, Garrett. There was that missile that had the gas that made everyone gay. That was an attempt. That was a thing they did. Our military.
I'm talking about reasonable things like dropping 4,000 cobras onto a nation, letting them do the heavy lifting.
Everything you've done is killing everyone. A little smile on a homicidal bastard. You want to be a man? You better have a plan. Another failure is a guaranteed disaster. It sounds like he's pro-war, just not the way this one was handled.
Yeah, I think he's saying if you're going to do something like this, like maybe have a plan.
Okay,
which
but
to his
still
credit,
continue
they
to
did.
do things like this.
Well, no, I think there's a big if there. If you're going to do these things.
And we are. So go on. What do we do?
I see. Oh, God. I'd like to say they get better from here, but they don't.
No. Track number 3, Hell and Consequences. I love the title because it sounds like the worst AMC show you've ever seen about the gold rush.
This Sunday on Hell and Consequences.
Yeah,
Maybe Hell and Consequences, New Mexico.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you'd want to do one. You want to do like a Wyoming one as well, probably.
Oh, yeah.
The lyrics of this song are often unintelligibly growled and barked half the time.
Yeah, it's a peculiar throat delivery.
Yeah, thematically, this is very similar to this Slipknot bullshit, right? This is a girl power anthem, but for a boy, right? A white, upper middle class boy who's been attacked by society and can't speak his mind for fear of getting canceled, maybe. I don't know. Garrett, this is a white male power. No, it is a white power. No. It is a.
I don't think you can have white and power in the same sentence anywhere.
It is a male power anthem
for white people.
Right. That are rich.
Ugh.
It is an Andrew Tate anthem. There it is.
Yeah. And because of all of that, I chose to view it much more as a theme song that somebody sings themselves when they are an undercover policeman posing as a mugging victim. He says, I'm not a victim till I let you take me down. I'm not a target in the sights of your mercy. I never ask for anything. I'm not asking now. I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid.
Okay, so the guy in your head, his job is to basically let himself get mugged. But he's like, he got beat up in high school. So in his mind, his pride won't really let him he could obviously take this guy, right? But he has to let himself get beaten up, and he's embarrassed because the passersby will see him get beat up by this guy.
Oh, I think he's also terrified.
Oh, yeah. Well, this song has, I think he shouts, "I will not be afraid" like 6 times, just like a guy who isn't afraid of lots of stuff would say.
Yep, that's how you can tell. I've done this on my own, and I don't care what you do to me. I won't hand over what is mine. I've done this for too long. To let you take it away from me, it's too late to stop me, because I refuse to die. And this is where I started to change my thinking. What if it's not a policeman, and it's kind of like more of a vigilante, but it's a vigilante that like lays traps. So like it's Batman, but Batman poses as a little old lady. But then he's got like the cape and cowl underneath.
Or maybe underneath his coat, the lady coat, he's just covered in bear traps.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. You ever walk around with spring-loaded bear trap on your chest? Just walk into
Certainly
a guy?
haven't.
It hurts just as much on your sternum as you'd expect. It is not a good way to do this. I could see this being an anthem again, though, for a one of those sovereign citizen fellows you're always hanging out with who's screaming about maritime law while getting tased at traffic stops and also don't pay taxes. It's just that I've done this on my own. I'm not going to hand over what's mine. You can't take this away from me. I refuse to die. Now you're going to jail, man.
Maritime law. If anybody starts talking to me about maritime law, I'm punching them in the face. I haven't weakened just because I've shown myself. I've taken everything except what's for granted. I'll leave hypocrisy for everybody else. I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid. Yeah, this is a very strange affirmation. Sounds a little like Batman.
I just love the line, "I will leave hypocrisy for everybody else." That in itself is hypocritical, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's like saying a lot of people really respect me because I'm incredibly modest and they appreciate my humility.
Yeah, even if it's true.
Yeah, what you just said kind of robs you of your point.
Yeah, that being said, it is true though, Garrett. That is why we respect you.
I think it's much more of a campaign of fear and violence.
Yes, it is the fact that you go balaclava over baklava every time.
Well, yeah. Song continues with a ludicrous guitar solo that's fine, but it's nothing amazing. And then we wrap up with, "I'm not a problem till you make one out of spite." Yeah, I'm not a problem till you make one out of spite. I'll give you hell and consequences for trying. If you don't want an enemy, don't fuck with my life. I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid. At that point, it kind of just sounds like a guy who's made up a song that's mostly just leave me alone. I guess that's your sovereign citizen out there in the bunker, FEMA camps.
Yeah.
All that jazz.
Maritime law.
Maritime law.
Track number 4, Silly World.
Love is just a song today. Love is just a song.
Slowed down opening, acoustic guitar, some light blues electric over it. And let me just take this opportunity to set the stage by saying this song sucks.
It does, but it sounds exactly like something off Dark Side of the Moon. Brain Damage, maybe?
Maybe.
And if the dam breaks open many years too soon. The freedom's just a word today. It's identical.
Freedom's just a word. Yeah, no, I don't disagree with the delivery at all. When the song finally does kick in, it is borderline rock country in the sentiment. It's bad. This song is bad. Let's get into it. Freedom's just a word today. Freedom's just a word.
And let me stop you right there. That already sounds like, again, this sovereign citizen bullshit, right? Today, freedom, people don't even appreciate what that means. It's just a word people say. They don't really get it like I get it. You're a cunt.
Yeah, nobody likes you. Nobody agrees with you. Just making everybody angry. But anyway, after that freedom business, he continues, when someone takes your word away, it's seldom ever heard. So take a sentence full of things. Take a sentence full of things you're not supposed to say. Carry on, but don't write it down, or you'll be gone. So, Stone Sour, I'm just going to say it, is basically attempting to create some sort of resistance movement for fear that we're living in a 1984 style nanny state.
Yes.
Oh, I also described this as the worst cover of Blind Melon I've ever heard.
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit of that, like the listless part, or like...
Yeah. I mean, are we on the same page here? It kind of sounds like they're saying, the thought police will get you, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. That's why we need to go back to maritime law, Garrett. It forbids thought police. It allows thought crime.
It's not. All we ever do is talk. We like to ride, but we never walk. We make it so damn easy, we get bored. Why can't anybody see what's good for you is good for me? I can't take your silly world. I can't take your silly world no more. I just gotta say, is it just me or does the word silly just make the whole song kind of a non-starter?
Makes it kind of silly, yeah.
Kind of silly, right? Silly is a silly word.
It's just, why isn't it capitalized?
Oh, I see you mean, like Mad World?
What?
Doesn't matter. Anyway, so what is he saying here? All we ever do is talk, but we never walk. We make it so damn easy. Life's too easy, so we gotta create our own problems. Is that it? Two frogs boiling in a pot arguing over how hot it needs to be to work properly. Let's keep going. Peace is just 2 fingers now. Peace was just a phase. When someone put it on a shirt, you knew to count the days. So take those fingers, tape them up, and shove them up your ass. What? And carry on. Don't try it now, because peace is gone. This part seems to be him saying, hey, you can take those peace fingers and shove them right up your ass. But then immediately, but don't try it now. Do that later at home. You'll love it, but not here.
Yeah. You're at my goddamn concert. I've got enough people at the other band's concerts with poop fingers,
with ass hands. Oh, what's up, brother? You got a real case of ass fingers. What's going on? Maybe get you. God damn. Could you imagine that meet and greet probably has like a wash station?
Oh, I think you hose them down.
I think that's fair. Maybe even hit them with the delousing powder.
But here's the problem. You also have to be clean if that's the case. You can't be a Slipknot guy.
I wonder if they do all that horseshit anymore.
I would hope not.
I mean, I know they have the masks, but come on. You're like 48 and 50 years old. Like, it's bad enough you're dressed that way. Even Kiss took the makeup off, which, honestly, side note, terrible idea. They looked like everybody's dads with long hair. It was awful. Put the makeup on, Gene. All right. Anyway, in this terrible song, he says, we fight our lives 13 times in a row, and then we get a guitar solo nobody wanted, and that brings you to track number 5, Made of Scars.
This one came from looking. This one opened twice.
Okay, Garrett, this song feels like a ripoff of Mother Goose's This Little Piggy. Are you familiar with This Little Piggy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it's about...
Went to market, roast beef, etc.
Yeah, but about scars instead of toes, so it's dark and brooding and interesting.
Yeah, I said, is this song about some sort of peeper that is super into the This Little Piggy song?
Oh, no, Garrett. If you want to talk close. Peeper, we got to hit the next song.
Yeah, we will. But you can certainly see why I got in that direction. Let's begin. This one came from looking. This one opened twice. These two seem as smooth as silk, flush against my eyes. Whoa. This one came from looking, flush against my eyes. It sounds like somebody's cutting eyes. Who's cutting eyes, Tim?
I don't know. But I feel like he's saying like this, I was like staring at a guy and so he cut me. You know how like if you make eye contact with a guy too long, sometimes they cut you?
They'll be like, hey, are you staring at me? Yeah, I'm staring at you. I'm gonna cut your face. Yeah, I've seen it 100 times. I've seen it twice. I have not seen it ever. Okay, let's continue. This one needed stitches, and this one came from rings. This one isn't even there, but I feel it more because you don't care.
And this is emo bullshit, right? He's got
emotional scars.
Yeah, he's got a scar that needed stitches. He's got a scar that was apparently like a degloving injury from a ring finger on a ring finger. And then again, you've got the inside scar, Garrett, the one that hurts the most because it's on your heart because of that time that girl, she didn't respond to your poem in English class. You know how it is. Mm-hmm. You're gross and sad.
Yeah, that wasn't even the most scarring thing of that day.
What was?
I'd rather not say.
Well, maybe, we're here. Might help to get it out.
Nah, it won't. It definitely won't.
You could put the balaclava on and say if you'd like.
That would make me feel like more confident.
Yeah, let's do that.
And yeah, I guess that's okay. Yeah, so later on that day, I called her and I asked for the...
Sorry, go ahead. You're in a safe place.
Do not feel that way.
No.
I was...
Feel the mask. Feel the mask. You're safe.
That's better. I was so nervous nervous that I didn't ask for her. I asked for her sister. And I accidentally asked for her sister's name because I had to look her up in the school directory there. And because her sister was older, she came up first. And it was just top of mind. So I asked for her sister. And then I asked her sister out. And she was like, who are you? Oh, you want to talk to my sister. She doesn't want to talk to you. Hang it. So that was the most painful part of that day.
Huh, sounds horrible, but I bet that mask makes you feel like you said it like anonymously even.
No, I don't even really want to finish this episode.
We'll bleep some of it, don't worry. This one had it coming, this one found a vein. This one was an accident, but never gave me pain. This one was my father's, and this one you can't see. This one had me scared to death, but I guess I should be glad I'm not dead. Cocaine? Did cocaine scar his insides?
Man, I think I might have overshared.
No, man, it's fine. We're all on your side here.
I don't even want to be here today.
Do you need a hug?
No.
No. Usually, I know how you feel. You need a... Hold on. Yeah, okay. All right. You know what? That was wrong. It did not feel good for me either. Let's just...
Yeah. Let's try to move on, but I just want you to know you have stopped this whole show dead.
You did the... It doesn't matter.
You
Garrett.
insisted. You made me expose my scars.
Oh, there we go. It's relevant.
It wasn't about the relevance.
You can take the mask off now. Have a piece of baklava. We'll be good.
It's a weird day in the studio.
Get a little sweet in your tummy. Let's carry on.
This one was the last one. I don't remember how, but I remember blood and rain, and I never saw it coming again.
Again, it feels like he's...
Was he murdered? Is he now Spawn?
Oh. No, I don't think so.
We'll see. Because that next song kind of feels like this might be the precursor to that next song.
It does. Let's move on then. Track number 6, Reborn.
I'm watching over you. I'm living in the shadows.
Wanda!
Garrett, this song I know you think is about Spawn. I believe it's about a man who was a peeper and then fell from a tree outside of a young lady's house, died.
And became Spawn.
Yeah, now he's the ghost of a peeper. He is a ghost peeper. He is a ghost
is actually
who
what
peeps.
my notes say.
Yeah.
This is a guy who used to be a peeper, fell out of a tree, died, and is now a ghost peeper. Or possibly a Pennywise.
Ooh.
Or Jesus. Let's begin. I am walking through your streets. I am looking in your windows. I am elemental now. You'll never even know I'm there. Not great.
Absolutely not. I think this is a peeper who he is initially excited to be a ghost because the thing he loved most of all was the sheer joy, the exhilaration of peeping unobserved. So you can see somebody, you can observe them in their natural habitat without them knowing there's anyone there. And it is the greatest thrill anyone can have, obviously. Now, he now can peep on anyone he wants. He can float up and see second story windows at will.
Yep.
This is his dream. His peeping dream.
Right. Listeners, peepers, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. What is the bigger thrill of the peep? Is it that you're seeing them and they don't see you? Or is it the thrill that at any moment you could be caught with your peepers open?
Well, it's the whole package.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Tim. If you can't be caught anymore because you're a ghost.
So, no. Okay, we'll get to that part because at the beginning, he's just died. He is thrilled. He thinks this is the greatest thing in the world.
I see.
But the song takes a turn.
Okay, fair enough. So at first he's like, oh my God, I can peep to my heart's content. Is it implied that he's J and his D?
I mean,
don't know
he's
how peeping
a peeper.
works. I know, I just assumed, right? Otherwise, what's the point? But
well, again, it's just the thrill of observing without.
Yeah, right. Song continues, disturbingly, I should say. Trigger warning for all sorts of stuff. I am watching over you. I am living in the shadows. I am just a word to you, but I am very real and cold.
Yeah.
Pennywise, ghost, Jesus.
Nah, he's a ghost, right? I mean, he's real, but he's cold. He lives in the shadows.
But he's watching over you.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
a ghost.
is a ghost.
The Holy Ghost is a ghost.
Yeah, well, that remains unclear, but
it's not.
But Jesus died, so he's a ghost.
No. He was physically resurrected. He's at best a zombie.
That's true. He is a zombie because he ascended up to heaven. I wonder if that makes him uncomfortable that everybody else is in wings and a halo and he's a zombie.
I mean, he's probably up there attacking and biting angels, turning them also into zombies.
Welcome to heaven. It's not everything you read about. We are in the middle of the largest zombie apocalypse known to man. Jesus was patient zero. He immediately bit God, and from there things have only gotten worse.
This is
it really that
awesome
bad?
movie.
I don't know. How do you think about an omnipotent creature that also happens to have an insatiable urge for human flesh? Suit up, Angel! Yeah, no, we should definitely write this.
Yeah, that's a great
And
movie.
he ascended to the right hand of the Lord, which he promptly bit.
God.
Deuteronomy 3:11.
Yeah.
Good
But,
stuff.
okay,
Good stuff.
Back to the song at hand, Garrett. This is somebody who died and, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, became more powerful and even peepier than you could possibly imagine in death.
That's true. Go ahead, read.
Well, the chorus is then roared unintelligibly. I am everything, I am anything. I am automatic, I am yesterday, I am every day. I am going to be reborn.
There's a lot of that.
Reborn. Anyway,
Yes.
the ghost
Catchy.
then, I believe, begins to feel sad that there, like you were saying, that he can't be noticed, that there's no chance that he will be noticed, right? He says, I am all there is to know. I am all that you've forgotten. I am enigmatic now. You never even knew my name. I am dressed in tragedy. I am by design immortal. I am just the last one left, but I'm always here and old. So I feel like this is somebody who is now, because he is taken out of the, time no longer has any meaning to him. So the peeping, I mean, he's just there. He's basically like that goddamn Billy Joel song, just hanging out in this room watching people age. That's not fun.
It's sort of a Beetlejuice situation where you got the Maitlands there stuck in the attic and all they can do is watch the Dietzes live their lives.
Right. And he goes on, I am just a secret now. I am just a vague illusion, a lie that you tell yourself that you never truly did believe. I'm a whisper in the dark. I'm a victim and the killer. I'm almost ready now, but you insist that I don't exist. So he is sad that no one even believes that he's there, right? I don't know if you know this, Garrett, but another one of the thrills of peeping is for somebody, you can kind of tell when somebody's like staring at you from across the room. Even if you look over and they've already averted your eyes, you kind of get that. Another one of the thrills of
cut
peeping.
their face.
That's a callback, folks.
They're always better when you remind everyone what you did.
Yeah, well, I don't want other people to be confused as to why I'm laughing. The point,
Fantastic that you're explaining that too. One of our best episodes. Oh, I'm a little freaked out, guys. That seems broken.
The point is, Garrett, that he has now lost the other awesome aspect of peeping is to give somebody that chill down their spine, that there is somebody observing them, that there's somebody staring at them, and then they turn around and there's nobody there. But if you do that enough times, if you are a ghost, if you're always just in the room or in the attic with them, at some point they just stop believing you're there and then they don't care anymore. You lose that.
I mean, to my mind, he's an invisible ghost.
Oh, of course. All ghosts. Have you seen? Yeah.
No, I've never seen one.
Right, because they're invisible, but they're everywhere.
None of that makes any sense. Let's see. Then we get the chorus again and a few motherfuckers. And that brings us to track number 7, Your God.
Did you listen? Even after you're gone, I'm gonna finish like I never be your God.
Is this about God getting depressed by the job of being God and quitting?
Oh, okay. So more or less that's what I got. But in the only tweak I'll give you is that it's not the God. It's just a hallucination or voice in his head.
Interesting. I'm going to say it's the
that
God.
he refers to as God. Let's get into it. Reveal to me this ugly thing. I'm rusted metal by your head. It's gotten out of hand again. Nobody sees it, but I can.
Okay, I got you. Because obviously many people can see Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Almost everyone believes in him. But if only this one person can see it, it's probably just some sort of figment of his imagination. Gotcha.
I think the ugly thing are his negative thoughts, and this is his Godhead or mental illness talking to him and asking him why he has a gun to his head right now.
Oh, I didn't get any of that.
I mean, I'm probably wrong.
It probably doesn't matter.
You thought of everything, I bet, but did you think that I might die? I haven't really smiled in I don't know how long. You know, something's gonna give again. Something's gonna give again. I think this is the hallucination saying, hey, I noticed that you're thinking about taking your own life. Did you ever consider what that might do to me?
Oh, well, that's horrible.
Right. And the guy's like, yeah, I know, but I'm really sad. I haven't smiled in so long and something's gotta give again.
Interesting. So if your hallucination panics, if you're you're about to kill yourself and tries to convince you not to so that it too can survive, does that imply that it is not actually a figment of your imagination, but that it is some sort of ghost that has latched onto you like a parasite?
No, powerful hallucination.
Oh.
But one of the rare instances where it's going to have a net positive value on your life. So
Interesting.
Congratulations on being a medical anomaly.
But it seems strange to me that a hallucination would become, I don't want to say self-aware, but that it's concerned for its own well-being. Is that a thing that a hallucination can have?
I think, I don't. Okay, so I want to be really clear here. What I'm going to articulate is not a Tyler Durden multiple personality situation, because that's arguable, as we all agree. But what I am implying is there's definitely documentation of people hearing voices and other personalities in their head, and they're just suggestions. They don't think they are that person.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, hallucinations and multiple personality or dissociative identity disorder, completely different things. Almost.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that nobody's getting confused here. We're not talking about multiple personalities, but hearing a disembodied voice in your own head, I don't think it's sentient. I think you're just very sick.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Not
you. No, you're good.
Okay.
Spirochetes. You, not them. No, I think it's. I'd be curious. Listeners, write in. Mental illness patients. Have you heard voices?
Mentally ill listeners.
Formerly mentally ill, ideally. Otherwise, bit of an unreliable narrator. But we'll take what we can get. Let us know. Have you heard voices? And if so, have they convinced you to preserve your own life in their own self-interest? And does that concern you?
Does that make you think they might be realer than if they did? Maybe that's interesting.
Okay, I tried to fight, but did you listen? Even after you're gone, man, I'm never finished. I can never be your god, but then I don't even think I want the job anymore. Which is delivered in a vaguely Red Hot Chili Peppers way. I just want to point that out. Made me laugh quite a bit. But I think he's saying, listen, I've been trying to help you the whole time. I'm just a personal god that lives in your head. And even if you're gone, man, I'm still out there trying to hustle. I guess I can just never be your god, And I don't think I want to be.
Well, so now he's saying he doesn't need this person to, don't worry, I'll be fine. You can go ahead and do it. I'm going to be okay on my own.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe it's not as permanent. Maybe gone doesn't mean, maybe this whole time he hasn't been talking about suicide.
Oh, yeah. Like maybe he's going to go on a family vacation where the hallucination
maybe he's
going to
go away to like treatment, and that's going to make the voice go away. Yeah. Maybe that rusty metal next to his head was a payphone, and he was calling to get picked up. 5150 himself.
You can't
probably just sign yourself in. Yeah. Just, hey, I'd just like to check in, please. They'll make that determination quickly. Say something. Anything to me. I do believe, but I have doubts. So many reasons to hold on. Conflicting interests, isn't it? I think this person's looking for guidance, but this god is giving him the silent treatment. And basically, this whole thing is an argument a man's having with himself.
Yeah, that sounds right for most of these songs, honestly.
Let's see. Let's cut to the quick here. Is there anything else?
I do think he tries to kill himself to get rid of this, though, because he says, what am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to live now? All I ever did was try, but the story ends, so I guess I'll have to die. Where am I supposed to go now? Right? So he is, and then I'm gone. So unless he can latch on to something else, and like you said, he can't because it's nonsense.
Right. Again, I just want to remind you, Tim, not real. Weird reaction. Yeah. So, bit of a downer, and not the last one that's going to end this way. Track number 8, we must keep moving, Through Glass.
'Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed.
Did you look up what this song is about?
Yes.
Okay. Because there's a thing he says it's about, and then several years later, he makes another comment that changes the context completely.
Oh, interesting.
At first, it makes it seem like it's a pretentious song. He says, I remember exactly where I was. I was 2004. I was on tour with Slipknot. I was sitting in a European hotel room watching a music video channel, seeing act after act of this insane, innocuous plastic music. So I'm picturing some sort of like lunatic Eurovision contest. They were plastic, bubbly, gossamer thin groups where it was really more about the clothes they wore and the length of their cheekbones than it was about the content of the song they were singing. I don't think anyone's ever said the length of their cheekbones.
No, but just want to point out, from the guy in the band with the gimmicky masks.
Right. Absolutely.
Jesus.
It really made me mad. I was like, is this it? Have we gone full circle? Did the singer-songwriter revolution evolution never happen? Is it just the same drivel from the same replicate over and over again? Through Glass is really a very angry song. It's basically me calling bullshit on pretty much everyone involved with the American Idol type shows. It has its place, but when you're basically cornering the market, making it hard for anyone who actually writes their own music to get ahead, then it's wrong, and that's really why I wrote this song. So he is saying this song is his reaction to all the gimmicky bullshit bands out there. And
I mean, what's happened to the singer-songwriter? You're
Right.
in a band with 9 people wearing Halloween masks.
yeah, who are playing drums on kegs and empty
Trash cans.
propane tanks. There's a bird that people lick. It's dead. It's been in a jar for a while. Anyway, in the music video for this, they play in front of the Hollywood sign, but they've changed it to read Hollowwood. You get it?
Oh.
You get it? Yeah.
I don't.
Anyway, years later, Corey Taylor said that he had food poisoning that day from a Swedish McDonald's and he was laying in bed unable to change the channel from MTV Europe. So I propose to you, Garrett, this is not a song about what he said it's about. This is a song about having uncontrollable diarrhea. The kind of diarrhea that it saps your energy, like when you were a kid and you spent all day in a pool in summer. Like just so dehydrated you can't muster the energy to get the remote. You're just trying to work up to moving to that nice cool tile bathroom floor so you can lay your sweaty face against it. That's what this song is about. That feeling.
Dear God. I love it. Let's get into it. I said this song is about a man observing people in human-sized terrariums.
Nah, that could be. Or possibly just looking through windows at people.
Also that. Definitely a theme. Let's get into it. I'm looking at you through glass. How could it be anything else? Don't know how much time has passed. Oh God, it feels like forever.
Now,
but
I'm gonna-
no one ever tells you.
I'm going to throw that out there. That's what that feeling of the terminal diarrhea feels like.
But no one ever tells you that forever feels like home, sitting all alone inside your head, which is another room, another name for a toilet room.
Absolutely.
Especially on a boat. A lot of maritime stuff going on here today. Yeah, so it could be a guy observing people inside human-sized terrariums. Could be somebody who has life-altering diarrhea. It could be somebody who is now seeing Barbie Girl for the 4th time in the same day, and they just want to kill themselves.
Yes, but also possibly because they have such life-altering diarrhea that they can't make it stop. How do you feel? That is the question. But I forget you don't expect an easy answer. And when something like a soul becomes initialized and folded up like paper dolls and little notes, you can't expect a bit of hope. So while you're outside looking in, describing what you see, remember what you're staring at is me. I feel like what's happened here is a cleaning woman has come into the room because he couldn't put that little thing on the door handle, and he's just there folded up like a paper doll, just
Oh, God.
she's just like, are you dying?
I'll
but
come
in
back later.
Swedish, yeah.
Right. Now, obviously, my interpretation slightly different. I think this is one of the angry subjects in their terrarium saying, how do you feel? That's the question. But of course, you don't want just a simple answer. And then they try to humanize themselves by being like, just remember, like, I'm a person. I have a soul. You've robbed me of all of my hope. So while you're outside looking in, describing what you see, remember you're staring at me.
Yeah, that's super important. If you've ever been kidnapped and held in a human-sized terrarium, try to humanize yourself.
Yeah, I mean, at best you might get released. At worst, maybe you'll avoid vivisection, which, from what I understand, is not great.
No, it's not.
How much is real? So much to question. An epidemic of the mannequins contaminating everything. Of course, to me, I think they used to populate these terrariums with mannequins to simulate small towns, but it was skewing the data because the subjects gave them personalities like a Wilson ball or the last man on Earth.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, total sense. Song continues, before you tell yourself it's just a different scene, remember it's just different from what you've seen. So now I'm picturing like they drug them all and then they like switch them all out like a big shitty Westworld. And so like, oh, now you're in like the undersea adventure.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know. The whole song's dumb. Track number 9, Socio.
I don't know what's wrong. It's like I'm too far gone. It doesn't matter.
Firmly in filler territory here. Even for this. Like, for this album, we have reached the filler.
Yeah, let's go through it quickly. I believe, well, let's read a little bit first. I should also mention this song is considerably less metal than the start of this album. It borders on like a funky Red Hot Chili Peppers knockoff. It's bad.
Yeah.
They sing, I remember now, but I still have my doubts. I think it's going to be today. Everybody came, but it's just not the same. Why did it have to be today? Now my chest is tight. No, I'm not all right. It doesn't have to be this way. Why does it have to be this way? Any ideas?
I thought this might be he has finally worked up the courage to tell his family that he is the masked man leading that Slipknot, and they came to see him for the first time, and he's very nervous.
I am number 9. I think that it's a guy that recently had a birthday and he knows that his family is going to throw him a surprise birthday party somewhere around that time, but he doesn't know which weekend.
Oh, so he's just busting into rooms being like, ah!
And he's got like severe anxiety / just hates his family. And so he's just like, fuck, I think they're going to do it today. I know they're going to do it.
I like the idea that he's super excited about it, but it's driving him crazy that he doesn't know what day it is or when it's going to be. So he's just busting into rooms like his family's having breakfast and he just busts in the rooms like, oh my God. Oh, sorry. And scaring the shit out of everybody.
Just keeps entering rooms going, you guys. What? Oh, nothing. You guys. Let's see here. I don't know what's wrong. It's like I'm too far gone. It doesn't matter anyway. Fear is in my heart. Just when I stop, it starts. And I can never live this way. I think it's a panic attack.
Yeah, it sounds like a panic attack. Not a great description of one, but he's not really a poet, so.
Dude, here's the weirdest sounds like I've had in a long time. And I'm not going to do it justice. I'm no singer. But this particular, is this the chorus? I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't matter. This particular section, here's a weird sounds like. So the song goes, I don't know what's wrong. It's like I'm too far gone. And all I hear in my head is, she's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. I'm just like, wait a minute. This shouldn't sound like Daft Punk, but good stuff. Song continues. Freedom in a cage. No sun and too much rage. I don't know how much I can take. Push it down inside, but it knows just where I hide. I know that normal is hard to fake. This is why I think he just kind of hates his family. So they all think he's like so crazy. You're so crazy, Carlos. You're such a weirdo. And like he's not. He's just like into horror movies and like orders his steaks online. And they're just like, yeah, this guy's crazy. I'm really not. Did you see his shirt? It says, who are the Beatles? Get a polo, guy. I hate my birthday. Then we get to the bridge. It's a real pick-me-up. He says, I lost again today. That's it. That's the whole bridge.
Now,
doesn't sound like it went great.
Your birthday because I shop for you exclusively on Temu?
It doesn't help. Although I will say, like, I've almost never appreciated anything you've given me. At least when I know it's coming from Temu, I can like openly be like, this is garbage. You know that, right?
Yeah, that is my gift to you.
Enjoy throwing this away.
To our Chinese listeners, we are kidding. We fully support you and we would like your business. If you would like to advertise here, Temu, I'll do a free read right now. Temu! It's good stuff. See, you can expect things. Shut up. You can expect things like that and more. Better even.
Let's hope so. Living with a curse. Sometimes it's even worse. It slowly kills me every day. Something I despise is going to take my life. I guess I'll try again today. Now, Tim, curveball. What if the whole song is about him being a werewolf and he's terrified of the day that his family's going to pick to come over and celebrate his birthday because if it falls on a full moon, he's going to eat them all.
True, but maybe he's got one of those Teen Wolf families where his dad is also a werewolf.
Scott, open the door right now. I don't know, Dad.
It's a great movie. I like when he surfs on top of that car. Every time I get on the subway, the overhead speaker announcer lady is like, hey, don't surf on top of the subway. You will be immediately killed. There's not much clearance. I don't understand who's doing that.
I guess enthusiasts of the film Speed?
Or Teen Wolf.
No, they don't. That's not even sort of the same.
He surfs that van.
He surfs Styles' Wolfmobile, sure, but that's nothing like surfing a subway.
Styles is great. Because he's not
about to be,
but you know he's gonna be in college.
Yeah, he owns it.
Track number 10, first person.
Way more hard song. I'm going to say it right now, Tim. This entire song, to me, sounds like an Andy Rooney style rant about how terrible the world is now.
I agree. The difference being, I think Andy Rooney knows what all the words Andy Rooney says means.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't think that's the case with this guy.
And in case anybody isn't familiar, and why would you be? Because Andy Rooney died in like 2011. But this was a very old man that would rant at the end of 60 Minutes because he was born in 1919. So in in 2004, everything was confusing, and he would complain about like the most inconsequential thing. Like, in my day, buttons had 4 holes, not 5.
It was weird that they kept putting him on TV. It was like they were like mocking him.
Like, it was like they were in on it. They were just like, you know what he's mad about? Staplers. Let's just put him on. And then it was literally the last 90 seconds. And it was always in my day. And then what followed was inconsequential is definitely the word. Yeah. Like, it would just be like, okay, we can do your thing, I guess. Nobody cares, Andy. It's good stuff. Anyway, so here's a whole song by Stone Sour in a similar vein. They say, why is everything so gray? Is everything so strange? Is everything so thrown together by mistake? Why is everything contrite? Is everything a plight? Is everything so insincere and out of sight?
And here it seems very nursery rhymey.
Yeah, it's not great. What confuses me about this song is, yes, he's saying everything sucks now, but he's saying it as though he just got here. Like, you were here. You saw what happened.
You saw the progression. Well, maybe he was out on the cocaine for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he was having a great childhood in the 70s. Not a great childhood, obviously not. But, you know, he was a kid. He was full of piss and vinegar or whatever.
And like, cocaine.
And cocaine in the 70s and 80s. And it was 70s and 80s were awesome. Okay. Then he blacks out for like a decade. Wakes up. It's 2006. New metal's everywhere. He's been doing new metal for like 7 years at this point. Everything's terrible, Garrett. Everything is contrite. It's a plight. It's insincere. It's out of sight. Thrown together by mistake. Gray, strange, etc., etc.
I love the idea that he starts Stone Sour, becomes a raging drug-addled nightmare, and then comes to in 2007, and he's like, what's a Slipknot? What have I been doing?
Yeah, but I mean, think about this. If that happened to you, and I attempted to convince you that you were in fact the masked man who was leading the Slipknot, like, no, come on. Just, no. I look in your closet. You got all the masks and everything? Nah, dude, come on. You put those there. You put those there.
You would have to show me my millions of dollars.
No, even then, you would not believe it came from that, because how on earth would that make you millions of dollars? It should only make you just shy of $8,000 a record. That's, honestly, I think that's about the right amount of money to pay a Slipknot member.
I really don't care for Slipknot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Song continues. I want to make it all. I want to make it away. I want to make it away. I want to make it a gross misadventure. I want to make you all. I want to make you all. I want to make you lie to me. Lie to me. I think he's asking politicians or the news or possibly everyone to just tell him everything's okay and he's not in Slipknot.
Yeah, that's fair.
He continues to lament the state of the world for a while, and then we get the chorus again, but this time it gets a little dark, Tim. He says, I want to show you the way. I want to show you the waste. I want to show you the worst misadventure. I want to show you all. I want to show you all. I want to show you all how to die for me. Oh.
Now
it sounds like a call to arms to topple the government.
Yeah, or possibly
Slipknot.
Yeah, there it is.
I have created a menace. I'm assuming he's at like the DC reflecting pool. They are known. They are known as maggots. I call on you today to end this scourge. And then we all go out and assassinate Slipknot fans.
Which is not what we're suggesting happens.
Oh, God, no. It's what the song's about.
Right.
I would never. We don't advocate violence.
Yes, but we are saying for sure Stone Sour and Corey Taylor are.
Right, for sure.
Allegedly.
Yeah, super allegedly.
But we do believe that, both of us.
Right, but that's not based on fact. No one's told us that.
No. That's just our belief in something that we think should be taken seriously.
Yeah, I mean, and if you come at me, I'll just say Jesus told me.
That would fly.
Yeah, that would definitely fly. People are stupid. Let's see. Now, everything's a side. Everything's one side. Everything depends on just which side you're on. Finally gets his act together. His metaphor becomes slightly clearer. I guess this whole thing is supposed to have been about politics, ? And people taking sides, I suppose.
It doesn't matter. It's...
Tim, I'm drowning in this word soup.
Yeah, we should move on and maybe skip the next song. Track number 11, Cardiff.
This fluid feels like pain. This
Is this a Christian song?
Well,
I'm taking from
my
your
notes-
laughter that that's not what you got.
No, but my notes are about resurrection.
Yes, and we do know that that is Jesus related.
Well, it can be. He's not the only one to do it. Let's get into it quickly.
I beg to differ.
Okay. So, do you have any idea why this song is called Cardiff?
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to answer.
No. I spent way too much time this week trying to figure that out myself.
Perhaps he wrote it in Wales? Is it?
That would be the guess.
Okay.
Let's get into the lyrics quickly, Tim. I'm just going to take you through my interpretation. Song goes, this fluid feels like pain. This stoic mood is all in vain. I reach into the dark. I tear this other me apart. How many years ago? How many deaths? I can't let go. My flesh is temporary. My God, extraordinary.
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever had food poisoning in Wales?
Yes.
Right. I think that sums it up.
God, vomited so much black. That fluid did feel like pain.
Right.
I think
you contemplated how temporary your flesh is.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't seem to be sticking with me long. I lost 16 pounds that trip.
Oh, yeah. Want to get down to that 30, 150, huh?
I'm going to have to cut off so many inches of feet.
I am on board for this.
Jesus Christ. God, I wear a 34 length pant, man. I can't take 4 inches off the bottom. That's mid shin.
We can always do a King of the Hill on you.
Don't Cotton Hill me. Don't make me one and don't kill me that way.
Yes.
God. Well, he fell on a hibachi grill. What?
No, Garrett, that's not how I'm going to kill you.
Okay. Anyway, I think this song is about a man who has killed several people in Cardiff and then had his brain and or consciousness put into a new flesh suit.
Okay.
And his god is science because he is immortal.
Yeah, and it would be.
He jumps from body to body as an assassin.
Okay, I think you're adding too much to it, but okay.
What are you talking about?
He doesn't
How
have
many
to-
deaths I can't let go. My flesh is temporary. What are you talking about?
Right,
Nail
no,
on the head.
that's his own death. That's the death of his previous bodies. He's not out there
Oh, I see.
assassinating people, man.
I think he's doing both. You can't kill my mind.
You can't kill my man. I don't know you.
can't kill my
In my purse, I don't know you.
You can't kill my mind. A man delivered can never make his way in darkness. I know tonight will end, but I won't give this life away again. I think this guy's putting down his tools of murder, Tim, and he will not waste this final life in his new man suit.
Okay, so he's gonna go out there and like paraglide or something?
Yeah, we'll get there. Sifting through the same debris. Oh, my father called to me. This smoke is in my blood. The scar giver. This home is just no good. Save me from my bitterness. I think he wants to go home, live a simple life with his father farming and not being a murderer.
Yes.
A man surrendered can never find his own forgiveness. I know my life will end, but I won't give tonight away. I won't give tonight away again. I think he's saying, yeah, I get it. I won't be immortal anymore, but it'll be a life worth living.
Okay.
And then there's an outro that I'm not going to read, and that brings us to track number 12, Zissix Road.
I'm following suit and directions. I crawl up inside for protection.
It's weird that they ended this album with Ben Folds
Ben
covering
Folds?
Evanescence.
That's super weird, right?
Yeah, and then throw on a little Journey guitar at the end.
Yes, they do. I really, we didn't hit it that hard because all these lyrics are distracting and awful, but like there's some truly peculiar guitar solos in here. All of them pretty like proficient, but just like, what are they doing in this album?
It's interesting because I believe that Slipknot doesn't have the guitar solos with, being the new metal and such. So I think this is Jim Root just like stretching his wings and being shitty. Did you look up what Zissix is?
Yeah, it's like unincorporated land in San Bernardino.
Yes, it was named by radio evangelist, Methodist minister, and, quotey fingers here, self-proclaimed medical doctor, Curtis Howe Springer, MD, DO, ND, PhD, doesn't have any of those degrees, who the AMA would call the quote-unquote King of Quacks. He named it this because he wanted his fake spa resort thing to be the last word in healthcare. How this relates to the content of the song, completely lost on me.
Oh yeah, this song is a bummer.
I don't know. I think it makes, I think it's kind of nice. It's...
What?
Well, he allegedly, so what this is supposed to be about, he says, this is a love song to my wife, thanking her for dragging me out of the fire and helping me get sober. Never written anything like that before, but it was very important for me to tell the world not only how much much she saved me, but how much she means to me. Keeping in mind that that is also the fella that wrote I Want to Slit Your Throat and Fuck the Wound. Now, yeah, he's gross. I don't think that's what this song's about. I think this song is about how extremely tired he is of having to put up with the rest of the guys in Slipknot's dumb bullshit.
Yep. That's my read.
Yeah.
Take us through it.
I don't know how else to put this. It has taken me so long to do this. I'm falling asleep. I can't see straight. My muscles feel like a melee, which is not how that's said at all. He's definitely using the word melee wrong, but I understand. If you're in Slipknot, you occasionally go through a melee.
Sure.
My body's curled in a U shape. I put on my best, but I'm still afraid. So this is somebody that is exhausted from being in. I mean, it's hard to do a rousing ballad about being exhausted and dreading going to work, but that's basically what this is.
That's what it feels like. Don't want to put that stinky mask back on.
Propped up by lies with promises, saving my place as life forgets. Maybe it's time I saw the world. I'm only here for a while. Patience is not my style, and I'm so tired that I gotta go. He would like to go see the world, not with these stinky fucks.
Yeah, I got a family.
Right, yeah.
You guys are terrible. You know what's at my house? No dead birds.
Well,
no fermenting dead birds.
There it is. Yeah, because he's like a Slipknot slave, right? I get to go home in 1 week, but I'm leaving home in 3 weeks. They throw me a bone just to pick me dry. I'm following suit and directions. I crawl up inside for protection. I'm told what to do and I don't know why. He is the slave of this terrible band that he made.
Like he's lost the plot. He's like, guys, I don't want to sound silly, but do you remember why we started the masks?
Yeah. And listen, I get how he's feeling, right? At some point in his past, he made a commitment to something that now wants nothing to do with anymore, something he actively dreads, but for some reason, these other idiots in this band, they just keep insisting that every Tuesday you have to release some new material. It is awful, Garrett. It is awful.
Preaching to the choir. I like your interpretation much more than mine, so I'm not even going to read any of my notes. And in fact, I'm just going to say, Tim, how did this do?
Pretty good. It hit number 4 on the US Billboard 200. That's the best it did anywhere in the world, though. It hit number 13 on the Austrian E3 Austria chart, number 21 on the Finnish Suomen Virallinen-lista, number 44 in Japan, 28 in Scotland, number 30 on the Swedish Sverigetopplistan, number 25 on the Swiss Schweizer Hit Parade, and number 33 in the Dutch. This sold more than 1 million copies in the US alone, but that didn't happen until July 2017, so it took it more than a decade to sell those 1 million copies. But it is Stone Sour's best-selling album to date.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah, you would honestly, because again, the original Slipknot album, again, buoyed by Tim and maybe 9/11, sold 1 million copies within the first year of release.
Yeah, and that was, 2000 or something like that?
It was 99, yeah, but it was, again, it was made by filthy monsters who are just shouting nonsense unintelligibly. I'm
surprised that the first Stone Sour album wasn't the most successful just because it was in such close proximity.
Yeah.
I certainly cannot account for the taste of any of either of the band's fans, so we needn't try. What do people think of this pile?
Well, there are 869 total reviews on Amazon, 4.7 out of 5 stars on average, 82% 5-star, 1% 1-star. Evelyn Raposo from 2013 titled her review, "Nice Band." Despite the fact that I'm a Christian, and Corey Taylor is not very fond of Christian, Stone Sour is one of the best rock bands of nowadays. It's a pure and rough rock and roll, with very heavy and melodic at same time, with well-written lyrics that express his thoughts and rebellion against Christianism, and where he also speaks his mind about some of his deep feelings. I very much like the song "Come Whatever May," dedicated to the USA former president, George Bush. If you're Christian or not, treat music like music. This album is full of quality. 4 out of 5 stars.
Dedicated to is
Yeah. So it's not about him. It's in dedication to him. I believe there was a live album after this that he said this next song is dedicated to Bush, and maybe she didn't. Yeah. Anyway, Tarong Chow, 2006, titled the review, "Transformation is Complete." Stone Sour is a side project of Slipknot's lead singer, and the sound is more conventional rock and roll than heavy metal. But I wouldn't say they sound like Nickelback. Why does every rock band nowadays get compared to Nickelback? Is Nickelback the basis of comparison nowadays? Stone Sour, by by no means sounds anything like Nickelback, so don't listen to those stupid reviews comparing them to Nickelback. You want a band that sounds like Nickelback? Check out Default instead. This is a beautifully crafted album with some heavy guitar riffs mixed in with some melodies. My favorites are Through Glass and XXYYZZ Road, not the name of that song. Both acoustic soft songs. Just because Stone Sour has a couple of laid-back songs does not mean they are indeed another Nickelback.
Yes! I was worried there wouldn't be one more.
I highly recommend this album if you're into the likes of Stained, Crossfade, Cold, or Seether. But don't buy this album if you are a Nickelback fan. 5 out of 5 stars.
That guy's awesome. If I was friends with that guy at least once a week, I would be like, man, I was listening to Stone Sour, and you know who they remind me of? I can't fucking believe you. You know they don't. You know. No, man, it's really similar. They are not Nickelback.
Yes.
Oh, God. What a psycho.
One more. This is by Kathy J. Taurine, called Great Musicians, but that's it. From July 7th, 2007. Yeah, you heard that right, Garrett. 777. The lyrics are a typical whine, whine, whine that is enhanced by the singer acting like he has something beyond a superficial knowledge of the world. The result is a young person who watches blurbs of news clips and has listened to his crazy aunt about how bad and terrible America is. Don't profess to know about war unless you have served. And the same goes with politics. The singer has done neither. Now, of course, he has the freedom to express his opinions because he is free. Yet all he does is talk smack about how we are not free and the flag means nothing. Then it is rather hypocritical. Do you even know how young this country is, young man? The rest of the world that you speak of that is in a shy storm, I think shitstorm, was there long before this country was founded. If you hate this country so much, you can leave anytime. Feel solace knowing that because people in other parts of the world like Africa or the Soviet Union do not have it so easy and would give anything to have the freedoms you have. The freedoms you so obviously misunderstand as you stoop over the zombies on your little soapbox. Musically, this band is very, very good. And I can take a couple of trite songs, but when the entire album seems to be the singer jumping on the pain train to moan and wail, a hyperbole of emotional nonsense, it gets old. I'm throwing my copy in the garbage. When you write a song, write it about something you know, because when you don't, you come off as nothing more than a cartoon of smoky wisps and buzzing sounds. 2 out of 5 stars. Now, a couple of things here. You don't get to talk about war unless you have served in war. But you also don't get to talk about politics unless you have served in politics. That's weird.
Yeah, I would not equate those two.
Yes. The other thing, this was in 2007. She's bitching about how uninformed this guy is, which I agree with. She seems to think the Soviet Union is still a thing.
Yeah, that part was a little... I mean, granted, you don't want to live there.
It doesn't exist, though. Like,
well, you don't want to live in the former Soviet Union.
Sure. But, I mean, part of her thing is, like, you're free here, not like in communist Soviet Union of 1982. Like, nah, that's not. Okay.
I mean, she's a crazy person. God damn. Yikes. That's what people thought of it. That brings us to an all too important question. Who is this for?
It is for people who are not fans of Nickelback.
I don't know. I feel like Nickelback fans might really enjoy this.
Yeah, they might. But that one lady disagrees.
Less so. Fair enough. All right. Well, we've been all the way through it, Tim. I do not think that it has earned itself a turnaround, but I'm curious, have you come to any grand conclusions after going all the way through it?
I have not. I mean, I agree with most of those reviews. I think this is just, it's a guy who just wanted to do anything other than Slipknot. And I mean, I can't really fault him for that. I would also want to do anything other than Slipknot. Unfortunately, apparently the problem with Slipknot is also a little bit this guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't accidentally end up in a 9-person band wearing masks all day. That's a decision.
That's fair.
You did that on purpose. Ugh, gross. All right. Yeah, I don't know that I have any grand revelations other than I'm pleased that you struggled as much with understanding the, we'll say, sloppy metaphors.
Incomplete.
I think that when the music is a little harder and a little more metal, I enjoyed it more than I expected to. Because again, I was expecting like screaming and and just like noise. Because I think Slipknot was like one of our noisiest albums.
Yeah, and again, like Slipknot, a lot of the things didn't seem to have any melody whatsoever.
Right. Whereas they were songs, and I can appreciate that. They're good at making music. They're good at playing their instruments.
Yeah, but again, that we've fallen pretty far when we're saying these are like there are melodies here we can pick out.
I don't know. Like we've had some tough ones. Hollywood Vultures or whatever.
Hollywood Undead, maybe? I don't know.
That sounds right. Anyway, all right, let's get down to business. Tim, you've been all the way through it. You've said your piece. Do you hate this album?
Yeah, I still hate this. What about you?
As they say, bingo bango. I sure do. Yeah, I fucking hate this. Yeah, we've all heard that because they say it. Anyway, you hate it, I hate it. Gino is dead asleep. We'll assume that's a tacit hate for him as well. And that's going to do it for us this week. As always, rate, review, subscribe, follow, all that jazz. We got Discord servers. We got subreddits. We're HatePod on Instagram, Album HatePod on Twitter. I'm G Harvey Tweets if you want to talk to me. And we're out there. You know, we're on all the systems and platforms and such. We're on the internet. If you want to find us, it ain't that hard. You can even download every episode on the website. There's hatepod.com. You can reach out to us there. And we want to hear from you. Shoot us a direct message if you got questions, suggestions, hopes, dreams, thoughts, fears. Are you being haunted? Is there some sort of It Follows with Shaggy or some other celebrity that you need help with? We can help you. But for this week and a little bit of next week, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Timothy P. Richardson. And on September 6th, 2015, Garrett P. Harvey said, please stop haunting the plane.
I don't remember the second please.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. The riffs are too repetitive. The lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides. The cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week. Now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.